The good is that the Prime Minister has announced paid pandemic leave, where $1,500 will be given to those who have to self-isolate because they are either waiting for a coronavirus test or they have tested positive and they have to self-quarantine themselves in an even more aggressive sense for 2 weeks. So those people will get paid. There'll be no reason for them to leave the house to try to find a way to keep perhaps casual work going.
What we will be doing is establishing a pandemic leave disaster payment. Need a disaster payment when it comes for people who have to isolate for a period of 14 days through no fault of their own, regardless of what their job they're in and employment they're in. They need that support. For those who have no more sick leave available to them, that they will be eligible for a $1,500 payment for the fortnight. That payment will be modelled on exactly the same set of criteria that the Victorian government has put in place.
The bad, let's go to Queensland, where, thankfully, there has not been, at least in the early days, the outbreak from those 2 idiot teenagers, but there has been yet another failure of the system. Remember those 2 teenagers with the Dib honour system that Palaszczuk set up? Unsurprisingly, it didn't work. Now, Palaszczuk is trying to pretend that, again, one of the exemptions that she's been fine with is now apparently something she's going to have a go at because a member of the Diplomatic Corp was able to not go into quarantine, was able to go to the Sunshine Coast and potentially infect a lot of people. She now says she wants to close the loophole that she helped establish.
There have been some exemptions. I don't think the time is right now for those exemptions. However, that is going to be a matter for the chief health officers around the country to look at, and of course I want to put that on the agenda for National Cabinet as well.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me. I've only been in the room for every one of those National Cabinet meetings. Also, in the bad, there was a footy crowd on the Sunshine Coast, and I've got to say, it didn't really occur to me that what had happened here was particularly terrible. But on the Sunshine Coast, there was a full footy stadium for people to watch an NRL game. There is no genuine signs of the virus in that part of Queensland, but the lack of social distancing is being heavily policed by people on Twitter, and authorities have decided to step up and say that they will now cut back on the number of people who can physically go to those games on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland.